DIY or Die, Walker Vapor Group LLC, or any of its associates do not condone nor encourage the use of nicotine, vapor products, or any mood-altering substances without the explicit consent of a physician. The content viewable on this channel is strictly for entertainment purposes only and not meant to be seen as informational or educational. Must be 21 years or older to view these materials.
Silky beat.
Hello, Mixers! Welcome back to another episode of the MIXINVIXENS. My name is Emily, also known as Mill Nikon. Please say hello to our other Vixens. We've got JJ, also known as Flavor Pro. Hi.
Hello.
We've got Jen, the E-Juice Fairy. Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, and we've got, excuse me, and we have Rin Vapes. How you doing, girl?
Oh.
And as you can see, it's judging time. So we've got, of course, we've got the lovely Shyndo and the amazing Concrete River. But we have our special guest judge on, the very handsome Folkart. How you doing?
You got called handsome, dude.
Wow.
I mean, that is a good color on you, though. I will say that. You look very good in that pink.
Yeah, what is that?
Thank you.
Salmon? That's salmon?
It's kind of orange. Yeah, it's salmon. It's kind of tropical.
The
Got some
twang that
pineapples
makes
on
you
it.
just handsome.
Nothing like a guy can pull off pink. I'm telling you what.
I actually look pretty good in pink, so yeah,
That's
I
right.
don't know why. But yeah, I'm doing okay. I'm feeling a little bit under the weather today. I think I'm coming down with a cold or allergies or something, but I'm here. I'm ready to judge, and yeah, so
Well, Folkart told us that he can't taste anything right now, but we let him make all the decisions about who won or lost.
Sounds legit. Yeah.
Yeah.
We figured we'd do it for the lulz. And
So you just pulled a recipe out of a hat, right?
I mean, it's slightly
Just
more
random.
scientific than that. We used a novelty travel mug.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, how was everyone's weekend going? Besides Folkart, are you feeling sick? I hope you feel better and it doesn't get worse. But
Yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad. I'm just a little congested in my chest, but I can still taste stuff, so don't worry. The judging will be accurate.
good.
It's never accurate. Like, don't promise things that we can't deliver on.
Okay.
Yeah, over promise, under deliver is our motto. So
Okay.
It's like a rotating cycle of failure, which is pretty much what my weekend's been like.
yeah, I thought it was great. I was like, I don't have to do anything this weekend. And I was like, oh shit. Okay. Well, here we are.
Worked out perfect then.
Just looking forward to actually being at home on a Sunday and watching Game of Thrones and doing all sorts of other like normal person stuff for once in a couple months. It's going to be all sorts of fun.
Yeah.
Nice.
What time does Game of Thrones come on?
The Eastern airing is at 9 p.m., I want to say.
Okay.
Yes, 9 p.m. Because like granted, I haven't had HBO in years or whatever, but you were always a sucker if you tried to wait until the Western airing. You just switched over to the Eastern one so you could still go to bed at a decent hour, because I was getting up at like 3 a.m. when it was airing, and it was untenable. And then figured out you can just watch it on the HBO East channel.
Got it.
I have to wait till it comes out on Kodi to watch it. I'm too cheap to buy HBO.
Whoa, I'm reporting you.
Yeah.
You wouldn't download a car now, would you?
yeah.
Yeah, probably.
See, that's why I'm looking forward to 3D printing, because like I got tired of stealing intellectual property. I want to steal actual property via the computer.
Yeah.
The thrill is gone out of downloading things. Now I just want to actually take other people's things.
See, I have to get through the first couple of episodes. I've never watched Game of Thrones, and now I don't want to watch it.
Here we
I want to
go.
watch it like from the beginning.
Here
So
we go. There's always that person. Hey guys, I'm the only person that hasn't watched Game of Thrones. Hair flip.
So I don't know if anybody's been keeping track of the script that got leaked online, but I'm really looking forward to the scene where Bran and Cersei make out tonight.
Oh,
That's going to get freaky.
yeah.
see,
Yeah,
and the best thing
Bran's
about
gotta
never
be
watching
18
it is
now,
that
right?
you guys say all the names and what's going to happen, and I don't have a friggin' clue. So even if I watch it all over again, I won't remember what name.
Yeah, you won't remember, so you're fine.
Like I don't even care who gets the Iron Throne at this point. I just want to make sure that Tormund and Brienne smash.
That's like the highlight of the whole show, right?
No, and I want to see it like in a lot of detail. They're HBO, they're not on cable. Let's get in there.
Let's just get in there. Oh gosh.
Yeah, that's my number one romance. Also, whoever Varys decides to scissor with.
Varys and Grey Worm, it's going to be awesome. Into it.
Oh, I found out Grey Worm makes music, by the way.
Oh, does he? Of course he does.
Yeah. He's got his own YouTube channel and everything.
Interesting. Did you guys make our recipes ahead of time? Let's stop talking about the show I've never watched.
No, we just bullshitted our way through it. So.
We were supposed to make the recipes?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I was just reading them.
I mean, that works sometimes, but sometimes
no.
you can look at a recipe and say that looks like a ball of fire.
On paper, sometimes my recipes are way better than they actually taste.
We actually made them up ahead of it. Well, I did, and these are actually labeled instead of doing the thing where I just mix all four and try to remember who did what profile. I actually labeled them this time. So, yeah, we're ahead of the game.
Look at you.
Wow.
I'm
I
impressed.
know Folkart was last minuting it this week.
What's that now?
I know you were last minuting it this week.
Yeah, I actually mixed up your recipe, Ren's, and Jennifer Jarvis's. I had to wait on one for Emily. I think I got it in Saturday, so it's been mixed up since Saturday.
Nice.
So.
And since yesterday was Saturday, you mean yesterday, right?
Oh, wait a minute. When did I mix that up? Friday. Friday. I got it in Friday.
Okay.
Yeah.
This didn't mark a milestone. Oh, sorry.
That's all right. This has been a very long weekend for me, so maybe it was yesterday.
Was it a good weekend then?
It was all right. Other than me, kind of coming down with a sickness, but yeah, it's all right.
I'm sorry. I hope you feel better.
I will.
I hope you feel worse.
That's a hot take right there.
You're too nice, and I want you to suffer for it.
I hope you spill something on your beautiful salmon shirt.
Yeah, and now he's the good-looking Folkart.
Oh my gosh.
I was just gonna say this week was a milestone for me. I actually had to order something for every single one of the recipes. So
Nice.
rip.
For all of them?
I love it when I have to make people buy stuff.
On the bright side, I actually used my E-cig credit, so I feel pretty proud of myself. Thank you, E-cig.
Oh, there you go.
All right, well, let's just jump into it. Do you guys have a predetermined order of how you're gonna go?
No, we figured that you guys would come up with the order this time. We could mix it up a bit.
It gives us time to actually vape the last three recipes too.
Yeah.
That's pretty freaking bad, assholes.
All right, you know what?
Whoops.
I'll go first. What the hey? So, I'm gonna have to wait till Friction puts it on the screen because I don't have it pulled up. I'm not planned, but I did the cranberry mess, and I know I can remember. There it is. Milk Icon's cranberry stuff. I used Flavora apple cranberry at 1%, 0.5% Flavora apple filling, to kind of those two. Just that was all the apple, and then Flavora cranberry to help fill out the Flavora apple cranberry, because apple cranberry is a good kind of balance of the two, but I wanted more of both because why not? More is always better, right? And then I did 3% of one-on-one rhubarb crisp, because someone had said in the Facebook thing that it looks like there's pieces of rhubarb in there. I'm like, you know what? That sounds like a good idea, because I've never really gotten rhubarb to work in anything, and I like rhubarb, but like all the other rhubarb flavors I've used has been too like vegetal or raw, or just have tasted like garbage. And so I got one-on-one and I tasted it, and I'm like, this is pretty good. It's a pretty decent like cooked rhubarb. Now you do get a little bit of like a bakery with it, but to me, I don't think it's enough to distract from the picture that you see. So
Okay, so someone should have definitely censored that picture, because that does not look appropriate for YouTube.
It's horrifying. That is a horrifying picture.
Like someone just regurgitated a bunch of olives, or some guy splattered on the I don't even know. All right, but one thing I will say,
left a lot of room for imagination in it, though.
One thing I will say is that I think we all agreed that, or Rick and I agreed that our favorite thing that we've probably vaped on the show was Jennifer Jarvis's like red apple filling or whatever. And we found out where the oatmeal note comes from. And that's thanks to your recipe, Emily. And it is one-on-one rhubarb crisp. And it tastes exactly like oatmeal. However, it also has rhubarb. So good luck. I really like this recipe. I did find that it is purely like one layer kind of, but at the same time, the flavor is there. It packs a punch. You can't go wrong with apple filling. It literally makes anything taste, as Rick said, like it's dipped in McDonald's apple pie gelatinous filling.
Yep.
Which, I mean, that definitely looks gelatinous from the picture.
Yeah, it has kind of an interesting textural effect. Like, I wouldn't guess you get like a ton of texture out of 3% of one-on-one rhubarb crisp, but that apple filling does just kind of like soak up the texture entirely. It's just dipping it in a vat of apple filling. You still get like those kind of actual bakery taste notes to it, but it kind of doesn't let the actual texture of it come out at all, which, if that's what you're going for, I think is a really smart use of it.
Yeah, for me, this recipe reminded me a lot of like an apple butter with or an apple preserve with a little bit of cranberry infused in it. It's very nice. It to me, it seems like something that you would spread on like on a toast or something like that for breakfast. Yeah, you just can't really go wrong with the apple filling. And I don't get much of the rhubarb from it, but I've never really, I haven't used this flavoring at all. So this is the first time I've ever used it. So I don't really know what it's bringing to it. But yeah, it's a nice kind of apple preserve, kind of very minimal cinnamon note in there, I call. But yeah, it's really nice.
Yeah, I think my favorite part about this recipe is it's like doing a commercial recipe without sweetener. So it's a commercial recipe that isn't going to wreck you, which is nice. You kind of like you vape it all day, and you eventually start to crave that like that red flavor that it encompasses, which is nice. You just basically satisfy yourself every once in a while. And you're vaping something sweet and pleasant. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It is, however, one layer. So if you're looking for complexity, it's not a complex recipe. So it's probably not for you. But if you want something that basically vapes almost exactly like a commercial recipe, where it's full of flavor, but at the same time simple and easy and doesn't have sweetener, it's probably perfect for you.
I was gonna make a joke about satisfying myself right now, but like you talked for an extra 30 seconds and ruined it.
Well, I mean, you did that before the show, and Folkart and I watched, and it wasn't pleasant.
That's where Fresh's eye contact comes in. It's a good trick.
I took my glasses off, actually.
Yeah, I think so. Like when you're saying like it's a cranberry mess and you're talking about a compote or whatever, like how much apple did you want to come through in the recipe? Because I do get a lot of apple.
Well, yeah, I wanted as much apple as rhubarb and the cranberry. Like I didn't want to be primarily just cranberry and red. Like I did want a good amount of apple coming through.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because like I like the balance here between the cranberry and the rhubarb and the apple, but like the flip side of liking the balance there, and thinking it's kind of evenly balanced is if you're trying to push that cranberry, like I think it got lost with the apple, but if that's what you were going for, I think it works out pretty well.
Good. Yeah. I was just kind of going for, I like Shyndo said, I wanted simple. I just wanted like evenly balanced, so nothing taking the spotlight. Everything kind of being, and it because of that, it did end up being like very linear, very one level.
Yeah, and I think I'm kind of in Folkart's camp with this. Like, I think this is like it's a good compote recipe, but I think with vaping something like a compote, it does kind of cry out for like an extra component. Like, I know y'all have done a lot of berry crisp things lately, but it would have been cool to see like a little bit more of that crisp note like layered in, or like a toast note would be really good. Something like kind of biscuity too, or something. It felt like a really solid base, and kind of what I was missing was a little bit of a flourish on top of there.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think like if I wasn't going for the picture, and I think just a little bit of something with AP would help boost that oatmeal note that you get for the one-on-one crisp. And I might have even bumped it up a little bit higher as well. I think it needed something like other than that. But like, the picture was like just the mess. So I was just going for like just the compote part, but
Yeah.
I think that would do really awesome in this recipe is adding like a toast or some more like a crumble or something,
Well, that's where chat comes in, right? Like they can take the recipe and do whatever they want with it, which is awesome. I think like something really rad would be like gingerbread with this.
Ooh.
That would be good.
Yeah, it would be.
Gingerbread. That's too seasonal. It'd be like Christmas in what month is it now? May, and I don't know if I'm equipped for that. You take that back.
Extra Christmas. Who the hell's going to complain about that?
It just took me 6 seconds to remember what month we were in. I think I have. But yeah, overall, very well done. Very, very red.
I got to say thanks to Addie Tooney for sending me apple cranberry. Came in the clutch.
Oh, nice. Thanks, Addie.
Okay, so who wants to go next?
Don't everybody raise your hand at once.
I will.
Okay.
I have no idea what my recipe was. I don't have it up. I'm sitting here talking in chat. I'm not even paying attention.
Here, I'll link it in chat.
It was Tango with me sorbet. It had 0.25% Flavora cream, 2% mango and tango by Inawera, 0.75% peach flavor art, 1.5 smoothie base, 1.5 Vienna cream, and a little bit of WS23.
Yep. I just went simple. I was just trying to get the main notes and then the kind of ice cream flavor. I don't know how well it was that fresh because I let mine steep for like a week. So I don't know how you guys thought it was.
I got mine mixed up about a week ago, so it had a little bit of time to sit. I
also couldn't taste it, so I have no idea.
And the winner is...
Yeah, I keep telling you she does her best work when she can't taste anything.
It's like it kind of tastes a little bit mango-y, and there's a slight note of orangey in there, but that's about all I can taste. And the coolness. That's it.
She can't taste all the off notes, so she's going by the flavors as they should be.
Should be. Yep.
You know what I mean? So I think she does good work when she can't smell.
So mango and tango, I have never had that one before. It's interesting. I don't know what's going on there.
It seems like a mango and an orange.
Okay.
That's what I got from the single flavor testing when I could taste stuff. And then I was like, ooh, that's going in this. And then I couldn't taste anything after that. So I was like, well, hopefully this tastes good. I was hoping that little bit of lemon from the smoothie base would come out a little bit to add to the citrusy notes. Because I didn't want blood orange. I did a blood orange version, and it just overpowered everything. I was like, well, that's not what I want. So I mixed it up a little bit more, and I was like, ooh, this is going to be good. Hopefully.
I like your style. It's great.
I'm into it.
I can't taste it, but hey, it's probably pretty good.
Allergy season.
Yeah, I actually I really like this recipe. I think it's very cool and refreshing. The for me, the peach and the mango blend kind of like a. I mean, you can't really tell a lot of separation between the peach or the mango. It's more like just a blended fruit of peaches and mango. And the sorbet is definitely there. I think that using the smoothie base was a smart choice on that. And there is one little note that I'm getting, and I don't know whether it's coming from the mango tango, because this is the first time I've used it too, or the smoothie base. There's a slight kind of plasticky note, and I'm getting like a mango, an artificial mango or something. But other than that, it really tastes very bright, very refreshing. Yeah, it's really good. It's really good. I think you really nailed the sorbet part as well.
Yeah, that was my favorite part, was the sorbet. I think the balance here with the fruits is really well done too. Like, it doesn't just taste like mango; it tastes like mango, a little bit of lemon, and some peach, which tastes really great. There's a bit of orange there too. It tastes like the color orange, and then you get the cooling with a little bit of plastic, which I'm not sure what that's from. If it's from smoothie base or Vienna cream, I doubt it's from Vienna cream though, because I've used that a million times.
I kind of think it might be the smoothie base, because I didn't taste it in my single flavor test of Mango Tango. I didn't get plastic from it. So I haven't single flavor test smoothie base.
Okay.
So I have no idea how that is aside from using it in a blend.
Yeah, and I like that you only use 0.25% of WS-23 and it still tastes cool enough to be a sorbet.
Yeah, it's just light. Like, I didn't want blast you in the face cold.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's really delicately and well executed.
And simple. It's not fairyfied.
No.
Unlike my first recipe was.
Yeah, and me as I don't like many vapes with WS-23 in it, but this is low enough where it's perfectly fine for me. So anybody that doesn't really like that, they won't have a problem vaping this.
I just want to add, like, subjectively, I hate peach and mango together. I have always hated it together, even though they go together brilliantly. But it works here for me, surprisingly.
Because I didn't want the peach to be like, ooh, it's peach. It's more like it's mango with a bit of something.
Yeah.
Like the peach, I find peach kind of enhances the mango texture, like the fleshy part of it.
Yeah, it makes it taste more juicy for sure.
If I wanted to go more authentic, I would have thrown a little watermelon in it.
Okay.
I don't know why. Watermelon seems to enhance the mango. Like, it gives it that almost, you're getting towards the rind of the mango, the skin, where it's kind of melony tasting.
Mm-hmm.
I've been eating a lot of regular mangoes. So I've been really studying how it tastes between the part near the pit and the part near the skin and the flesh in between. And it does a little bit of watermelon. It seems like FA watermelon or Flavora watermelon or melon rind. All of those will bring out that little bit of the mango. But I obviously haven't redone this recipe yet.
Yeah, I find mangoes taste a little peppery near the skin. You could actually, anything that you get a little bit of black pepper from would probably work too. Like,
I don't get a pepper note from it.
FA black pepper with a little bit of VT shisha mango makes it taste like a very, very piney mango.
Huh.
Yeah, I think. Oh, go for it.
Now, I was just going to ask you what you thought about it, Concrete.
Oh, I liked it. I think it is like that very bright kind of fruit flavor, and that mango and tango and the smoothie base and all that. Like, I feel like maybe there's like a little bit of sort of assorted bright tropical, which is like a weird genre of flavor, but it's like in the background to a lot of like tropical candies and stuff like that. It's at like kind of almost pixie stickish, like bright pineapple kind of grainy sweetness. And I think I got a little bit of that with the combination of everything mixed, which I don't think was a bad thing at all. And I think it's like a really appealing flavor, but it kind of drug me a little bit off like an actual like more realistic sorbet profile. But overall, I do like the fact that there was enough texture in here from the Vienna cream and from the FE cream, not FE, the Favora cream, to kind of give it like a good base to work from without swamping the entire thing with dairy notes. WS23 is in there just right at the right level for me. I think it was a really solid, cohesive sorbet recipe. And I think we're kind of drastic. I mean, me personally, like I'm drastically misjudging what people are looking for in mango vapes. I've kind of realized that from going back to some vape shops. Like I've tried some mango juices. I like, this just tastes like plastic. And that's like what they're into, which is kind of horrifying because it's not a good flavor. This is a good mango. A lot of other mangoes aren't good.
Yeah, it's hard to find good mangoes. Like I think I've got every mango there is now because I've been trying to find good mangoes, and I like Molenberry's tropical mango. I almost put that in here, but I'm like, nobody's probably going to have that.
I'm more
Hey,
like
of all the Molenberry flavors I actually don't have, here we go.
Not everyone had the mango tango either, so.
Yeah, but I figured that was new and people would be buying it.
Yeah.
So they might actually try the recipe.
I just shout out to Inawera for continuing to be the least accessible flavoring company in the entire world with adding weird shit into their flavor names. Like, who the fuck knows what tango means? But apparently their new flavor is called Mango Tango. Shout out Poland.
Well, I thought it might have been like a reference to like a tango flavor, which is an orange.
Okay.
Mango Tango is something over there.
I just saw people dancing on the label and I was super into it because I'm into feelings.
And it's actually called Mango and Tango.
Yeah, I was surprised. I think Mango Tango is pretty good flavor. I still like VT's Shisha Mango the best though.
That one's really green to me.
I know, but real mangoes have a lot of green notes in them.
Well, it's like more green than eating a real mango. It's like I'm eating the mango skin, which I don't do.
I don't think many people do, except for psychopaths.
That makes sense.
Well, guys, where I'm from, you take the mango and you squish it with the skin on, and then you make a little hole and you kind of suck it through there so you're tasting skin to not make a mess.
That makes sense.
But you're not like eating the skin.
No, but you get a good amount of that aroma. Yeah.
I don't have too much experience with mangoes, but to me, like, there's very little bit of flesh. It's like the sweet spot. Like too close to the skin is gross, and too close to the middle is gross. It's
Oh
like,
no!
See, it's all good. It's all good to me. I like the piney taste.
All good, all the way to the.
Yeah, I'll sit there and like chew off the bits of flesh that's still on the skin that I didn't cut all off, and I'll suck the whole pit until it's all gone.
Yep.
And I throw it out.
And then if you suck it out the pit too long, it even hurts your tongue. Kind of makes it raw.
Well, it's like eating a raw pineapple. When like a fresh pineapple, when you're cutting it open and you're eating it fresh, it's got a lot of that acid in it. So it makes everything feel slippery.
Damn it. Now I need to go to the store and go buy a mango.
They're on sale this week too, so I'm going to pick up a bunch.
Weird mango diversion. Another one, but I live in the middle of nowhere, and my grocery store recently got on a shipment of champagne mangoes, and they are so much better than like the other normal mangoes they were selling. So yeah.
So they're the little yellow ones, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yep. I just had a bunch of those too.
Sweeter.
They are sweet. They're super sweet. They're super juicy. They're delicious.
Like it counts as exotic for Colfax, Washington. That's all I'm saying.
I mean, general rule of fruit is just smaller is better. Like same thing with peppers. You get smaller jalapenos are spicier.
Yeah.
More flavor.
all right, why don't we get back to
Oh yeah. Who's next?
I have 14 more mango diversions I want to go in order.
Who
There
knows?
are a million mangoes, so you have time.
We'll go get me out of the way if you want to.
Okay.
Since I got mine pulled up.
Okay.
Showing me up with her preparedness.
Will you talk about your delicious recipe?
And pronounce it.
And balance it.
Oh no,
Well,
pronounce it because we're uncultured swine.
Yeah.
Well, I have to take off my
Hola.
glasses because I'm at that age where if I wear my glasses where I can see my screen, I can't see the screen up close. So my recipe, I try to make it simple. I didn't want you guys, as a matter of fact, I submitted it because it was like not a million flavors in it. I still had 7. I made that cake. It was simple. It was just making a cake with a pink frosting with a very slight cherry note so that it wouldn't be overly cherry. And I used Flavor West sponge cake because that's my new yellow cake. With Flavor West graham cracker and FA. Did I use FA crust? No. The sponge cake and the Flavor West graham cracker is basically my bakery note. I used the Flavor West graham cracker at a pretty high percentage because I wanted the graininess in there to add to the sponge cake. The sponge cake's kind of wet and moist. Rin's favorite word. So in order to make it more cakey and like you're taking a bite out of it, I use plenty of Flavor West graham cracker. Then I use FA custard to add a little bit of a lemon note to that cake. A tiny bit of a lemon note. So it's only there at 0.25%. I use marzipan at 0.75%, which is, on the higher end. So I wasn't meaning for that to be a side note. I was meaning for that to be my cherry note on the frosting side. And Flavor West wild cherry at just 0.5% because that cherry is very mild. But it's good and it's sweet and it's candy-ish, candy-like. So that was just to boost the marzipan, the cherry inside the marzipan. The marzipan also added a little bit of an almond note. The meringue at 1.5%. I know that's kind of high, but that was to make my frosting more realistic, kind of like that powdered sugar frosting you'd get at home. And that's it. Buttercream frosting with the meringue is my frosting. Period. Bottom line, a little bit of cherry, a little bit of cake, a little bit of butter.
I totally read this recipe as cupcake followed by cerveza at first. So I thought it was, I thought it was a beer cupcake. I was not disappointed though. It turned out much better than a beer cupcake.
So it's almond, cherries, lemon, and cupcake with those ingredients. That's what it is.
Okay.
7 ingredients does count as simple. I feel like we're making progress.
True.
No, and like I want to reiterate, just not trying to be knee jerk or whatever. Like when you're using a lot of flavors, I get that what you're doing. It's just a joke, and also it's really nice not to have to pull down 11. So thank you.
Yeah.
But I actually really liked this recipe quite a bit. It does a lot of really interesting things. The cake note in it, I feel, is maybe the place where I'd rather just get cancer from vaping yellow cake, but I totally get the design choice of not wanting to go with something a little bit heavier. The creamy sponge cake maybe gets a little bit lost for me on like subsequent drags. I want to say like the first drag on this and maybe the second, like you do get like a fairly clear like kind of cakey note, and then the cake kind of fades out a little bit for me, and like the graham cracker takes over, and it kind of feels more like frosting on graham crackers, which is still absolutely delicious, but that creamy sponge cake doesn't seem like it's 100% standing up to everything else going on.
Yeah, so I'm kind of on the same page as Concrete. I will say that the frosting part of this, I think is amazing, and I commend you for using cherry in a recipe because I know it's really difficult to use, but I think you pulled it off on this. The frosting part is a pink frosting. It's spot on pink frosting. The bakery part, I know you can taste you can taste bakeries in everything, and you probably wanted to pump up that bakery so we could taste it. I'm like Concrete. I don't get much of the sponge cake, but I do get that graham cracker. It's nice. I wish there was a little more cakiness there to really sell that cupcake part. But as an overall, delicious frosted graham cracker, pink frosting, you nailed it. I love it, actually.
Yeah, that frosting note is absolutely fantastic. I really like that.
Frosting with no cake, that's where I would have gone, but I had to add a cake.
Yeah, the frosting is really good, and like Folkart was saying, like it does come across as pink, and I mean, you made me buy another cherry flavor, which that's horrible. But the way you utilized it with, I guess, like some of what's going on in the marzipan and the extra bit of cherry and stuff like that, like it works, and there's no plasticky weirdness from the cherry in here. Like it's a really cohesively integrated pink frosting without being like full on cherry, but like when somebody calls it like a pink cherry frosting, like you can definitely get the cherry in there. And that's a really cool trick.
Right, because when you get a cherry frosting, you don't taste like a cherry. You taste that artificial cherry note that they'll put in it.
Yeah, I don't know what to say that they haven't already said, because like I think we were all 100% in agreement on this recipe. The frosting's incredible. It's like it's perfect in every way. The only thing is there's a lot of graham cracker and a bit of coconut too. But the sponge cake, I only get the sponge cake on like the first few dregs that I take on it, and it's wonderful when it's like that. But after that, it's frosting with graham cracker, which isn't a bad thing at all, by the way. It's not as accurate to the picture, but I don't even care because I think I vaped this one the most probably out of all of them.
I also really like the lemony accent there too. Like just that little bit of custard for like that lemony thing, like whatever you're doing for the lemon, like it works really well. It adds like a nice tartness to it without making the entire thing too zesty or weird. Like it does add just a little bit of extra lemony tartness. So yeah, we kind of used all that damn lemon.
That or the lemon or the pastry says that Rin uses. Those were my two choices, and the only reason I went with the custard was to make it part of the frosting and not part of the cake.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think that's the reason a lot of people add zest to their frosting.
Cool.
Yeah, and I think that the FA custard with that lemon actually adds to the cherry part too, because all cherries that I've ever tested, they lack that sour or kind of lemony note, tartness, I guess is what I'm trying to say. So adding that, I think, helped enhance that cherry sun too.
Yeah, I also think frosting is the perfect place for cherry to live, right? Because it's waxy, and you can use something like a marzipan flavor, which works great with it, and it kind of overrides all the bad parts of a cherry.
Yeah.
Cool.
I think Ren's next.
Save the best for last.
Yeah, right. All right. So I did a blood orange sherbet, or it's really just orange sherbet. I used 0.75% 1.25% fizzy sherbet by Vape Train, 0.5% of sweet cream by Vape Train, and 1% vanilla ice cream by Vape Train.
You want me to go on this one, guys?
Get it.
Take it away.
All right. So I really like this recipe. When I saw it, the first thing that popped in my mind is I'm not going to taste anything in this recipe. It's like 3.25% or something, or 3.5%. And so I mixed it up, and I was really shocked how much flavor is in this. To me, it reminds me of an orange creamsicle. That's what it reminds me of. I know Concrete and Shyndo got a little bit different vibe from it, but it just seems like an orange creamsicle with just a little more orange, in it than what you would buy in the store. But it's sweet, it's creamy sherbet. It's nice. It's really nice. And I think Concrete might have doubled the recipe on this.
Yeah, no, I just accept the fact that I'm a trash person right out of the gates. So I actually doubled the recipe just because, like, we talked about that before, and I really liked this doubled. I think the other dudes got maybe a little bit more nuance, or they're just smarter and better at talking about things than I am. But I feel like by kind of doubling the recipe, it does something interesting, because I think Kyle got sort of a more realistic take on it, and then I doubled it, and the fizzy sherbet kind of picked up the orange instead of getting like two separate components. Like, I got a very nice, like, actual orange sherbet flavor. Like, it was sweet enough, there was a little bit of brightness, and it had that sort of vaguely kind of skim milk, is it dairy, is it not dairy background going on that actual sherbet does. I really liked this when it was doubled. Yeah.
Yeah, I got kind of like a sherbet that you would probably make in a restaurant from this. And it was like spot on for me. And it just goes to show that Rin really loves those Flavora citruses, and she keeps pushing them on us, and now we know why. Because this one, it tastes like they actually juiced blood orange, which is fantastic, and it's super bright and acidic because of the fizzy sherbet. By the way, I did not double the recipe, and the creaminess is definitely there, and in a perfect amount. I could vape it all day. This is actually my favorite recipe this week.
Yeah, the fizzy sherbet definitely helps the blood orange though. So if you haven't really liked it, maybe try adding some of it, because otherwise it was a bit flat.
Yeah, it's not flat at all. It pops. It's perfect.
Yeah, I like the fact that the sherbet part isn't eggy or anything. You get enough of that milky creaminess, but it's not like a eggy kind of an ice cream or anything like that. It's bright and it's refreshing, and it's really good, really good. I was shocked that low of a percentage recipe had that much flavor.
Yeah, I think acid is it's just so necessary in something like that, and it really does make it pop. It doesn't taste flat at all. And it's a much better option than adding something like sweetener too for it to feel realistic and not taste like Diet Coke at the end. And then the vanilla, the actual vanilla note is great at providing the illusion of it being like a creamy treat. Like that's where I think Folkart actually gets his creamsicle vibe from.
A creamy treat.
Yeah, this from the vanilla.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but after trying this recipe, I think like my first reaction was kind of like, oh shit, this is a lot better than most of the other sherbet flavors that I've tried. Just because it does have that kind of like elemental breakdown of like sherbet, and I really like this. It honestly, if anybody's on the fence about it, it absolutely beats the hell out of any standalone sherbet I've had. This has a much better balance of actual fruit and vanilla and a little bit of acidity, and it's present without being completely swamped. It's just really good stuff.
Yeah, I think the fizzy sherbet, the use of the fizzy sherbet was perfect in this recipe. It does exactly what it's supposed to do, and gives it that, like I think Shyndo was saying, it gives it a little bit of a acidy kind of a note to it. It just makes it pop.
Yeah, I know when we used to make like sorbets and sherbets, we'd often add lemon juice or lime juice to make them pop. And that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of like that really authentic, like restaurant made sherbet. And I mean, it shows you know what you're doing when you're using a supporting flavor at a higher percentage than your main flavor. So
yeah, and that fizzy sherbet. I'm sorry, go ahead, Ren.
No, I was saying it's fairly weak. I find Flavora to be a little bit stronger than Vape Train percentage-wise. I didn't want it to be too heavy. Like, I wanted it to be in there a little bit, so I had to bump it up a little.
Yeah, I didn't have the desire to double pretty much anything. The balance was spot on as is for me.
So I'm the token trash man. I'm cool.
Basically, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Did you try
Concrete,
it
that
at the
just means you
regular
need to cut your
percentage?
recipe in half by adding VG to it and check it out.
I mean, I started mixing this up and then I was like, I'm going to double it. So I literally added half the base that I was going to add. Like I was going to do it the right way. I was like, we'll try it this way. But I think we're all in agreement. It's a delicious recipe. I just happen to be a worse human being than these two, which is kind of impressive. I mean, Folk's cool and all, but being worse than Shyndo's even more terrible.
You're not wrong.
It's such a low bar and I still can't clear it.
So do we want to tell everyone who the winner was?
Drum roll. That's a terrible drum roll.
And our winner for this week was Rin.
Yay!
Oh my God, she smiled.
Wow, I knew I would get it out of her. I knew I would get a smile out of her.
He's been pretty serious today, so
I'm pissed because my internet's out again, so I'm on my phone and I hate it. But thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
Really good.
You can take me off spotlight now. Thank you.
We like to put you on the spot. Say something else. Speak to your peoples.
Speak to your adoring fans.
Yeah. But I'm glad you liked it. I actually I wanted to do the coffee cake. I knew you guys would have stuff for that. And I really didn't feel like shipping it. So
I mean, laziness wins the day is the real moral of this story.
yeah.
Congrats.
Very good, Rin. It actually looks delicious to me too. And I've been struggling with my taste buds lately. So even while I've been here, I brought in some empty bottles and I figured I'd single flavor test some stuff to try to get my senses back. So that might be strong enough to get through.
Can any
Just
of us
bring
taste
it.
anything? Because I can't. Jen can't.
I'm the only one that can taste stuff. Nice. I have a chance for next month.
Mine's starting to come back. My allergies are starting to die down, so I'm actually tasting strawberry now.
I mean, that's great.
Yay.
My taste buds went away, came back, and now they're going away again. Something else. And I mean, I'll tell you what I did taste. I mixed some tobacco and I mixed it up strong so that I could taste it. And it was so strong that I was like, I can't do this shit. So I had to set it aside where I re-wicked while I was in here and everything. I was like, woo, I got to try something else. I still
I've been
smell
vaping mint. That's how desperate I am.
Wow.
I never vape mint.
Welcome to the dark side.
Yes. I did finally taste. I tried out Viserion by ID10T. It is bomb, and I probably wouldn't have tried it had I not been in this predicament because I thought I hated WS23, especially with fruit. But that one
is that the blueberry toothpaste one?
Yes, it is.
I don't get that. I don't get that. But yes, it's a blueberry with cream and WS23.
blueberry toothpaste. That's not nice.
Blueberry toothpaste. None that I've tried.
I got to take every chance I can with Dave. I mean, come on.
It's Dave
good,
after
though.
all.
I have been going through a bunch of flavors for noted anise and black licorice, so I've had a weird couple of weeks. It's been super fun.
That's going to be a
Ooh,
fun
those are
episode.
tough.
I really don't. I actually like black licorice and I don't mind anise. I feel like they should have drug up a random sampling of 14 Europeans to bring on noted instead of me, but I'll try my best.
I don't know. To me, they almost all taste the same because I guess it's a flavor I don't like much. So they're all supported. I use them all as supporting notes to something else, and I can't really tell the difference. But
That's
I mean, I
kinda
guess
how I am
behind
with
the scenes
coconut.
flavor,
They all
I would.
taste the same.
Huh?
That's how I am with coconut. They all taste the same.
Yeah, I've technically got 4 anises here to try back to back. This is my dedication to noted. My guesses are all going to taste exactly the same, but who knows? Maybe I'll have some sort of revelation about anise.
Someone out there is going to be very happy to find out what the best anise flavor is from a bunch of Americans that hate anise. So
Yeah, I want to know. I want to know the answer to that question myself. That's one I watch because since I don't like any of them, I might as well have the best one.
I just want to see you guys do another sweetener episode so I can see the pain on your face.
No, let's not have a repeat of that. So speaking of noted, Folkart's gonna be on again tomorrow because he loves me that much.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
we're
be
gonna
talking about pistachio.
Yeah, we've got. I think I've got 9 of them that we're gonna try to go through. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Looking forward to it, except maybe for one of the flavorings.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
really.
it'll be fun. And
It's
you know,
really
thanks
bad.
for coming on and being a guest judge again.
Oh,
Yeah,
sure.
have you back, and we'd love for you to come back again. So
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime.
awesome.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and joining these two over here.
I can't deal with this positivity, really. You put him in the mix, and it just makes Kyle and I look like even worse human beings, and I'm not okay with that.
Kids don't do a good job at trashing us, but we've gotten pretty much used to who the winners. And even when we picked the order we were going, it still ended up being the best.
I told you we just randomly choose one.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
congratulations, Ren. Did a good job. All of you. Fantastic recipes, really.
That's not a real word.
What are you talking about?
I think he just dropped a yins.
Yins. Yeah.
Oh, Lordy. What do we got going on next week?
Next week is a picture. It looks like it's an ice cream cone. And James, if you have that, I'm gonna throw it up. It looks like maybe caramel or butterscotch or something on it.
It is actually one of those ones that come in the package in the freezer, that like a drumstick. Yeah, it's one of those brand, but it's hard to find.
Oh,
I searched for like 3 days trying to find the actual food of what this is so I could know to mix it, because I'm like, what the hell is this thing? I'm not mixing another one of these recipes because it's the same thing as last month. So I went searching for it, and it looks pretty interesting as to what it actually is. And I've already mixed my version up. I haven't tested it yet, though.
Nice. Oh, and guys, if you like Friction and you like his work, just want to quick before we go let you know that where can they get help support you, Folkart?
I'm sorry, what? Oh, yes, please come watch our Develop show. If y'all haven't heard about it, we do a recorded episode. We release it every Tuesday at 6 o'clock. And it's just a short 15 to 20 minute clip of us as a group mixing together. And I think on this next one, I think Emily's going to be in this one. So yeah, so we're excited about that. And then on Thursdays, we do a live show for about an hour, and we talk about the recipe that we released. And sometimes we don't release the recipe because what we want to do is we want to show the process that we go through to make a recipe. Sometimes we get it right, sometimes we don't. But just the actual process, I think, is what people really like to see. And we have a lot of fun with it. So, yeah, check us out.
But Folkart, if they wanted to support you, like with their wallets.
Oh, that way. Well, okay. So I have some one-shots now with Chef's Flavors. There's, let me grab these right quick.
The man just turned as pink as his shirt.
Yeah. So I've got five one-shots, and they're all of them are like private recipes. I haven't made them public yet, except for one. Well, it's slightly different, and it's the sweetie pie. It's sweet potato pie So the line is called the Folkart Collection. So you can grab that. I've got Aztec Gold, which is a dark chocolate with caramel. I've got a Cryptic Vanilla. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, I've got a Cryptic Vanilla, which is like a cream smashed between two vanilla wafers with caramel smothered all over. It's really good. People really seem to like that. I've got Aftershock, which is it's an Oreo cookies and cream and mint recipe. And Gringo, which is a tobacco RY4 with a little more emphasis on the tobacco part. So yeah, go pick them up. Check them out. I appreciate it. Really helped me.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's the show. Boys, thank you as always for coming on and judging us. We always like to throw in a little bit of competition to keep these mixes interesting. And thank you to our sponsors, E-cig Express, Flavora, Bull City, and Scott over at All the Flavors. And thanks for Wayne for putting us on his network. So everyone have a good night. We'll see you next week.
See ya.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.